Hey Pisces, I need to talk to you about something that has been coming through in the energy lately. And honestly, it is pretty intense. I have been sitting with these cards for a while now, and what they are showing me is not just about surface level drama or everyday conflicts. This is about something much deeper that is happening in your world right now. There is a situation unfolding around you where your mere presence, your energy, your way of being is triggering something profound in someone else. And I am not talking about the kind of irritation that happens when someone has a bad day. This is about you unintentionally bringing out the shadows in another person, the parts of themselves they have worked so hard to hide or deny. Your light, your authenticity, your refusal to play certain games is causing their inner demons to surface in ways they cannot control anymore. And here is what makes this reading particularly complex. There is someone in this situation who had doubts before, who was not sure about what they were seeing or experiencing, but now those doubts have completely dissolved. The truth has become crystal clear to them, and they cannot unsee what they now understand about this entire dynamic. But there is more here, and this is where my heart really goes out to you. There is a wounded feminine energy in this situation, possibly you or someone very close to you, someone who has been deeply hurt by all of this. And there is a child involved too, someone young or someone with a childlike innocence who is being affected by the heaviness of everything that is happening. The worry and concern around this child is palpable in the energy. So let me pull these cards and share with you exactly what the universe wants you to know about this complicated situation you are navigating right now. The first card that came through for you is the Empress, and I have to tell you, this card appearing first is so significant. The Empress represents that wounded feminine energy I was sensing, and when I look at this card in the context of your reading, I am seeing someone who has been a nurturer, a caregiver, someone who has poured so much love and energy into creating something beautiful, whether that is a relationship, a family dynamic, a home, or even a version of themselves that felt safe and abundant. The Empress is about fertility and creation, but what the cards are showing me here is that this creative, nurturing energy has been under attack. There has been someone in your life, or in this situation, who felt threatened by your ability to create, to nurture, to bring things to life. And here is what is fascinating about human psychology. When someone encounters a person who embodies qualities they wish they had, or qualities they have suppressed in themselves, it can trigger a really dark response. You being who you are, being naturally giving, naturally abundant in spirit, naturally creative, this has irritated something deep within another person. They look at you and they see everything they are not, everything they have failed to become, every opportunity they have squandered. And instead of doing the inner work to develop those qualities in themselves, they have directed their frustration and their darkness toward you. The Empress energy is also about motherhood and protection, which connects directly to that child I mentioned earlier. Whether you are literally a mother or you are someone who nurtures and protects others, there is a young person or a vulnerable person in this situation who looks to you for safety and stability. And what has been happening is that the attacks or negativity directed at you have not just affected you, they have created ripples that touch this innocent person too. I am seeing that you might have been in a position where you were trying to shield this child or this vulnerable person from the toxic energy while simultaneously dealing with your own wounds. That is an incredibly heavy burden to carry, Pisces. The Empress is telling me that you have been trying to maintain that nurturing, stable presence even when you yourself were hurting, even when your own cup was empty. But here is what the universe wants you to understand about the Empress appearing in this position. Your ability to nurture, to create, to embody that abundant feminine energy is not something that can be taken from you. Yes, someone has tried to diminish it, to attack it, to make you doubt your own worthiness and your own power. But the Empress is an archetype. It is a fundamental force of nature, and what is natural and true cannot be permanently suppressed. The person who has been threatened by your Empress energy, who has been irritated by your light, they are revealing their own emptiness through their actions. They are showing everyone around them exactly what they lack inside. And while you have been wounded, while you have been hurt, your essential nature remains intact. That creative force, that nurturing spirit, that ability to bring beauty and life into the world, it is still there within you, waiting to be reclaimed and expressed fully once you move through this difficult chapter. The second card here is Six of Pentacles, and this one is really fascinating because it speaks directly to this theme of someone having doubts that have now been resolved. The Six of Pentacles is about giving and receiving, about generosity and charity, about the flow of resources and energy between people. In the traditional image of this card, you see a figure with a scale, measuring out coins to people who are in need, trying to distribute resources fairly. What I am picking up here is that there has been someone observing this situation, watching the dynamics between you and this other person who you have been triggering. And initially, this observer was not completely sure what they were seeing. Maybe they were being fed one narrative, maybe they were seeing isolated incidents without the full context, maybe they were trying to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. But the Six of Pentacles is showing me that this person has been paying attention to who gives and who takes in this situation. They have been watching the flow of energy, the balance of effort, the distribution of care and consideration. And what they have realized is that there has been a massive imbalance all along. I am seeing that you have been the one giving, offering, extending yourself, trying to maintain peace or trying to help or trying to be understanding. And the other person, the one whose demons you have been irritating, they have been taking and taking while giving back very little except criticism, negativity, or subtle sabotage. This observer has watched this pattern repeat enough times that their doubts have completely evaporated. The scales in the Six of Pentacles have tipped so far in one direction that it has become impossible to ignore. And here is what is powerful about this, Pisces. When someone finally sees the truth of an imbalanced situation, when they recognize that one person has been all give while another has been all take, that recognition cannot be undone. You cannot unsee that level of inequity once you have truly perceived it. This card is telling me that someone in your life or in this situation now fully understands what has been happening. They see who you are and what you have been dealing with. They see the other person for who they really are too. Those doubts they had, whatever questions they were holding about the situation, those have been answered decisively. And I want you to understand how significant this is, because sometimes when we are in the middle of a difficult dynamic, especially with someone who is manipulative or someone who has been painting themselves as a victim while actually being the aggressor, we can start to doubt our own perception. We can wonder if maybe we are the problem, maybe we are seeing things wrong, maybe we are being unfair in our assessment. But the Six of Pentacles is confirmation that your perception has been accurate. The imbalance you have been experiencing, the one-sided nature of certain relationships or interactions, the way you have been giving so much while receiving so little in return, that has not been your imagination. Someone else sees it now too, and that external validation, even if it is quiet or behind the scenes, is incredibly important. This card also suggests that there may be some rebalancing coming in the future. The universe does not allow extreme imbalances to persist indefinitely. When the scales have tipped too far for too long, there is eventually a correction. Justice finds a way of asserting itself, not necessarily through dramatic events, but through the natural consequences of how we treat others and how we show up in the world. Now we come to death, and I know this card can feel scary, but stay with me, because what it is revealing here is actually a necessary and ultimately healing process. Death in tarot is rarely about physical death. It is about transformation, about the ending of one chapter so another can begin, about the parts of our lives and ourselves that need to die away so that something new can be born. In the context of everything we have been discussing, the Death card is showing me that there is a profound transformation happening in this situation. The old dynamics, the old patterns, the old version of how things were, that is all dying away. And it needs to die, Pisces. It needs to end completely because it was built on an unhealthy foundation. I am seeing that you being yourself, you showing up authentically, you refusing to continue playing a certain role or accepting certain treatment, this has been the catalyst for this death and transformation. When you irritate someone's inner demons, when you trigger their shadows just by being who you are essentially forcing a confrontation between them and their own darkness. They can no longer maintain the illusion they have been living under. For them, this is terrifying. Their demons have been brought into the light, and they are fighting desperately to stuff them back down, to regain control, to restore the status quo where they could hide from their own truth. But the Death card is telling me that this restoration is not possible. You cannot go back to unconsciousness once consciousness has been achieved. Not really, not permanently. This transformation is also happening within you. The part of you that tolerated certain behaviors, that made excuses for others, that sacrificed your own well-being to keep the peace, that version of you is dying. And I know that can feel disorienting because even when we are in unhealthy patterns, there is a familiarity to them that can feel safer than the unknown of what comes next. The wounded feminine that the Empress represented, she is going through her own death and rebirth. The person you were before all of this happened, before you saw clearly what you were dealing with, before you understood the true nature of this dynamic, that version of you is falling away. And while that process is painful, while it involves grief and loss and uncertainty, it is also making space for a stronger, wiser, more boundaried version of yourself to emerge. The Death card is also speaking to that observer we talked about with the Six of Pentacles. Their old perception of this situation has died. Their doubts have died. Their willingness to see both sides as equally valid has died. They have moved through a transformation of understanding where their previous uncertainty has been replaced with clarity. And here is something really important that the Death card wants you to know. When a situation reaches this level of transformation, when the old structures are completely breaking down, it can feel chaotic and it can feel like everything is falling apart. But this falling apart is not random destruction. This is necessary clearing. This is the universe making space for something much more aligned, much more authentic, much more sustainable to take root. You have been in a situation that required this level of death and transformation because nothing less would have been sufficient to create real change. Minor adjustments were not going to address the fundamental problems. The whole foundation needed to crumble so that something new could be built on solid ground. The fourth card is Eight of Cups, and this one brings such a powerful message about what happens when someone finally sees the truth they have been avoiding. The Eight of Cups shows a figure walking away from 8 cups stacked in the foreground, leaving behind what they have invested in, what they have built, and heading toward the unknown, usually depicted with mountains in the distance. This card is appearing to show me the moment of decision that comes after the death transformation. Once the illusions have died, once the truth is fully visible, once you can no longer pretend things are other than what they are, you face a choice. Do you stay with what is familiar, even though you now see it clearly for what it is? Or do you walk away toward something unknown, but potentially much more fulfilling? I am getting that this Eight of Cups energy has multiple layers in your situation. First, there is the person who had doubts and now has clarity. They are reaching or have reached an Eight of Cups moment where they realize they can no longer remain neutral or uncommitted in their understanding. They are walking away from their previous uncertainty and toward a firm position, a clear perspective, a decisive understanding of what is true. But more significantly, I am seeing this as your card, Pisces. You are the one who is moving toward or is being called toward an Eight of Cups journey. All those cups stacked there in the card, they represent your emotional investments. The time you put in, the energy you expended, the love you gave, the chances you extended, the patience you demonstrated, the understanding you offered, all of that is represented in those cups. And what the Eight of Cups is telling me is that despite all you have invested, despite all you have put into this situation or this relationship or this dynamic, there comes a point where you have to be willing to walk away from it. Not because your investment was worthless or because your efforts were wasted, but because continuing to pour more of yourself into this situation would be throwing good energy after bad. The person whose demons you have been irritating, they are not doing the work to integrate those shadows. They are not taking responsibility for what has been revealed within them. Instead, they are likely blaming you for triggering them, resenting you for holding up a mirror to their own darkness, punishing you for their discomfort with themselves. The Eight of Cups is saying that you cannot fix this for them. You cannot love someone into wholeness if they are not willing to do their own inner work. You cannot nurture someone into health if they are committed to staying sick. You cannot give enough, care enough, try enough to transform someone who is determined to remain in their dysfunction. And I know this is hard, Pisces, because your nature is to care, to help, to believe in people's potential, to see the best in others, even when they are showing you their worst. The Empress in you wants to nurture and heal. But the Eight of Cups is wisdom telling you that sometimes the most loving thing you can do, both for yourself and ultimately for the other person too, is to withdraw your energy and let them face the full consequences of who they are choosing to be. There is a child or vulnerable person affected by all this, and the Eight of Cups might be telling you that protecting this young one might require walking away from the toxic dynamic. Sometimes we stay in unhealthy situations because we are trying to shield others, but what we fail to realize is that staying can expose them to ongoing harm, whereas leaving, even though it is difficult, creates the possibility of a healthier environment. The journey shown in the Eight of Cups is not easy. Those mountains in the distance represent challenges ahead. The path is uncertain. You are leaving behind what you know, even though what you know has become painful. But here is what this card promises. What you are walking toward, even though you cannot fully see it yet, is more aligned with your true needs, your authentic self, your real values. You are walking towards something that will actually fulfill you, rather than deplete you. The fifth card is Knight of Pentacles, and after all the intensity of the previous cards, this one brings such a grounded and reassuring energy. The Knight of Pentacles is the most methodical, most reliable, most patient of all the knights. This knight does not rush, does not act impulsively, does not get swept up in drama or emotion. This knight moves slowly, but with absolute certainty and commitment. What I am seeing with the Knight of Pentacles appearing here is a message about how you need to approach the next phase of your journey. After the death transformation, after the Eight of Cups walking away, there is a period where you need to rebuild, to recover, to establish new foundations. And the Knight of Pentacles is telling you that this needs to be done carefully, deliberately, one step at a time. There might be a part of you that wants everything to change quickly, that wants immediate relief from the pain you have been experiencing, that wants rapid movement towards something better. But the Knight of Pentacles is counseling patience and methodical progress. Sustainable change, real healing, genuine transformation, these things take time. They require consistent effort over an extended period. I am also picking up that the Knight of Pentacles might represent an energy or even a person who is going to be important in your healing and rebuilding process. This could be someone who offers you practical support, reliable assistance, steady encouragement. Not someone dramatic or flashy, but someone dependable who shows up consistently and helps you take care of the practical matters that need attention. This night is also about work and dedication. After walking away from what was not serving you, after allowing the old patterns to die, you are going to need to put in effort to build something new. The Knight of Pentacles is telling me that you have the capacity for this work, that you are more resilient and more capable than you might currently believe. There is something really important here about the Knight of Pentacles appearing after the Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups is about leaving, about walking away, but it is not about running away impulsively or avoiding responsibility. The Knight of Pentacles confirms that your walking away, if that is what you choose or need to do, will be done responsibly, with attention to practical considerations, with care for those who depend on you. For instance, if there is a child involved, the Knight of Pentacles shows you will make sure that child is provided for, protected, given stability even during a time of transition. This knight never abandons duty or responsibility, but this knight also knows the difference between genuine responsibility and false obligation, between caring for others appropriately and sacrificing yourself unnecessarily. The Knight of Pentacles is also a message about your own recovery. That wounded Empress we talked about at the beginning, she is going to heal, but the healing is going to require the slow, patient, consistent approach that this Knight embodies. You are not going to bounce back instantly. You are going to need to take care of your physical health, your financial stability, your daily routines. You are going to need to rebuild your sense of safety and security one small action at a time. This card is also telling me something about the person whose inner demons you irritated. While you are doing this slow, steady work of healing and rebuilding, they are going to be dealing with the consequences of their choices. The Knight of Pentacles suggests that karma, that natural law of cause and effect, works on its own timeline. It might not be immediate, it might not be dramatic, but it is inevitable. The way they have treated you, the darkness they have revealed, the harm they have caused, all of that will catch up with them through the patient, inexorable process of natural consequences. The final card is Ace of Swords, and wow, Pisces, this is such a powerful card to close on. The Ace of Swords represents truth, clarity, mental breakthrough, the cutting away of illusions. It shows a hand emerging from a cloud holding up a sword, often with a crown at the tip, symbolizing the victory of clear thinking and honest perception. After everything we have discussed, after the wounding and the transformation and the walking away and the slow rebuilding, the Ace of Swords is telling me that you are going to experience a profound moment of mental clarity. All the confusion that surrounded this situation, all the gaslighting you might have experienced, all the times you doubted your own perception, all of that is going to be cut through by the sharp blade of truth. The Ace of Swords is confirmation that your mind is going to become crystal clear about what happened, about who people really are, about what you need to do going forward. This clarity is not going to come from others validating you, although the Six of Pentacles suggested that external validation is part of your story. This clarity is going to come from within, from your own mind finally being free from the fog of manipulation, confusion, and self-doubt. I am seeing that the person who had doubts and no longer has them, their clarity is also represented by this Ace of Swords. They have cut through to the truth, and they are standing firm in that truth. And here is what is significant about the Ace of Swords appearing at this position in your reading. When truth becomes this clear, when the sword of honest perception cuts through all the illusions, it cannot be obscured again. The person whose inner demons you irritated might try to create new narratives, might attempt to rewrite history, might work to confuse the situation again, but the Ace of Swords says that their attempts will fail. The truth has been revealed, and truth, once fully seen, cannot be unseen. It might be denied, it might be argued against, it might be resisted, but it cannot be erased. This card is also about justice, not the slow karma of the Knight of Pentacles, but the sharp, decisive justice of clear truth cutting through lies. There is a quality to the Ace of Swords that is about wrongs being named accurately, about situations being seen for what they really are, about facades being stripped away completely. For you personally, Pisces, the Ace of Swords represents your mind becoming a powerful tool for your own protection and empowerment going forward. You have learned something profound through this difficult experience. You have developed the ability to see through manipulation, to recognize toxicity, to identify when someone's inner demons are being projected onto you. This mental clarity is going to serve you for the rest of your life. The Ace of Swords is also telling me that you might find yourself needing to speak your truth, to use your voice, to communicate clearly about what you have experienced and what you know. This is not about revenge or about publicly shaming anyone. This is about refusing to be silent about truth, about not protecting people from the consequences of their own actions by hiding what really happened. There is a child or vulnerable person in this situation, and the Ace of Swords suggests that part of protecting them might involve being clear and honest about the reality of the situation. Children and vulnerable people are often more aware than we give them credit for, And sometimes the kindest thing we can do is to offer them truth rather than false reassurance. The crown on the sword in this card represents the victory that comes with truth and clarity. You are going to come through this situation with your integrity intact, with your mind clear, with your perception sharp. The person who tried to make you doubt yourself, who projected their shadows onto you, who attempted to make their demons your problem, they have not succeeded in confusing you permanently. The fog is lifting, and you are seeing everything with remarkable clarity. So Pisces, to bring this all together, you have been in a situation where your authentic self has triggered someone's unresolved darkness. They have been irritated by your light, by your Empress energy, by your ability to nurture and create. There has been someone watching this dynamic unfold who initially had doubts but now sees the truth clearly, recognizing the imbalance, understanding what has really been happening. A profound transformation has occurred or is occurring, the death of old patterns and old dynamics that needed to end. You are facing or have faced an Eight of Cups moment where, despite all you have invested, walking away becomes necessary. The rebuilding will require the patient, methodical approach of the Knight of Pentacles, taking care of practical matters, healing slowly and steadily. And ultimately, the Ace of Swords promises that you will emerge from this with complete mental clarity, with the truth fully revealed, with your perception sharp and unclouded. The wounded feminine will heal. The child or vulnerable person will be protected. And the demons that were irritated will remain the problem of the person who carries them, not yours to solve or fix. You have done nothing wrong by being who you are. Your light is not something to dim. Your authentic nature is not something to apologize for. And the fact that someone could not handle your energy, that says everything about them and nothing about you. Stay strong in your truth, Pisces. The clarity is coming, and with it, the freedom to build something new on a foundation of honesty, authenticity, and genuine alignment with who you really are.